What you are about to witness will shock you beyond belief. You will not be able to accept this as reality, that it has to be a trick of some kind, that I had to have staged it somehow. What you see in front of you is the result of a binary code given to me by an alien race that are telepathic by nature and live primarily in the spiritual world, or what they call the fifth dimension. They are the most feared race in the entire galaxy and are here to protect us from harm. They are the Arcturians. More specifically, a woman named Catherine is helping me. She is the one that gave me this code. They are trying to teach me to release my fears and to understand what true love is all about, which we don't share here on Earth. What you are about to see will shock you. If this were to happen to you, there would be no way that you could handle this. I have had a long-term relationship with them, and they have terrified me a dozen times over, so that the result of my findings, I simply said, thank you. I was prepared for what you are about to see. What you see in front of you is the result of a binary code. What I asked my friends for were communication, and this is what they gave me. How I start my meditation, if you call them that, is that I put double blindfolds on so that there is no way I can see anything. I tried only one blindfold, and that still let in some light, so by using two, I was unable to see anything at all. I then played my hypnotic music, and I lied down naked on my bed. What happened in the past was that they would torture me in the extreme, to the point where I would have several violent orgasms during each session. Whether or not I consider that to be sex, I don't know. It can be just a huge amount of pressure on the human body that has caused the orgasms to happen. At any rate, what they are trying to do is testing me to find out my strengths and weaknesses, and then to allow me to understand the human body like never before. I am a coward and always have been, so they are taking their time in coming completely forward. They are giving me only things that I can cope with. What you are about to see is my session. The way they gave me my code was to give me a set of hand signals. For the numerical number 1, I held my finger up and paused. Then for the number 0, I made a clear fist, which you will soon see. And then, after it was all over with, wrote it down in Excel, doing it twice to make sure. And then, whenever a 0 started, I began a new number. Since the code was intended for my use, even if I didn't do it properly, it was the way they told me to do it. I had no idea how to proceed. When I looked at the 1s and 0s, it was crazy. I had no idea what to do with it. It was over 10 minutes on video. I broke it down into rows of 10. This gave me 3 numbers per row, which you see in front of you now. There is no way to memorize over 500 digits and 70 numbers. There is no way for me to see the numbers since I was blindfolded. There is no way to lie down on my bed and for me to squirm in pain for over 50 minutes continuously. I wasn't expecting anything at all. Like you, I was very skeptical that I was going to find anything, and all that this was all just my imagination. However, I couldn't have been more wrong. I will begin by reading each number very slowly, and then I will start to explain everything that I found and my reasoning behind it. Perhaps you have already noticed some things, perhaps not. However, the most shocking thing isn't in the paragraphs that you see in front of you, but the title. To me, it's a clear indication that I am having a serious relationship with this woman, perhaps more than how they normally help people here on Earth. Because of the title, I feel that they are training me to be much more than teaching me about life. But for me to be their leader and that they want to come forward through me, I believe at least that they are giving me special treatment and special care and concerns. What I found through this is absolutely crazy, so I have the right to decide for myself what they have intended for me. I am not concerned with what you believe, but it is the truth for what I see. So let's begin. Okay, what you see in front of you are numbers that I formed by a binary code. I will slowly read these off to you in order, so you can see just how impossible it would be for me to memorize this. And you will find out in the following video that there was no way that I could remember this, write it down, and since the ones and zeros will verify these numbers, it is further proof that I did not stage this. So I'll begin with these numbers. The first row, 7, 4, 2. I consider that the title. Then the next number is as follows: 12, 2, 6, a new row. 24, 2, 6, a new row. 6, 6, 4, a new row. 6, 12, 18, a new row. 6, 6, 2, a new row. 2, 6, 12, a new row. Now what I consider the end of the paragraph, and this is what I'll explain after I finish it all. 36 to 127. I will tell you that there are 6 rows to that 36 to 127. Now, for the next paragraph, 2 to 24, new row. 12, 4, 2, new row. 6, 12, 8, new row. 14, 2, 12, new row. 12, 24, and 2, new row. 2, 12, 24, and a new row. 8, 14, 48, end of paragraph. At this point at 120, 248, and 64. Now, to continue on, you can see this is impossible for me to memorize. So, 12, 4, and 6, 12, 24, and 12, another new row at 12, 8, and 2, another new row, 24, 6, and 4, another new row, 4, 2, and 14, another new row, 4, 14, and 4, another new row. 16, 24, and 6, another new row. 4, 6, and 2, another new row. And then finally 12. And it's the binary code that they gave me that I transferred into numbers, and those were the numbers that I read and I got from the binary code. And the first thing, other than the title, is a 12, as you can clearly see. And then, at the last number, is a 12, which you can clearly see. When I saw this amazed me. So it sort of surprised me because I didn't realize that anything was going to come from this. It totally shocked me, and I was sure if I looked on that I would find other things. Now, I started to look at it and noticed there were a lot of 12s there. I counted the 12s from the first 12, including that 12, and to the last 12, and there are 12 12s. This cannot be a coincidence. I separated the pages like this because I noticed there were some numbers that didn't seem to fit. And what I mean by this is that most of the numbers were below 24 or whatever, for 24 letters in the alphabet. For the most part, there were no numbers higher than that, so I thought I would be able to transpose the numbers in the letters. I could, except for everything but 2 rows. And those are the 36, 2, and 127, and also 120, 248, and 64, which you can see at the end of each page. Now, if you count the rows, it also goes up 6, then 7, then 8, which you can clearly see. And it's also a weird coincidence. Now, I started to notice a lot more in here, but what I noticed was I looked at the 2 rows that were bigger than each other, and that's how I separated the paragraphs, and found out it was 6, 7, and then 8. And also the numbers were much larger. And then I realized I recognized the 36 and the 120, and I didn't understand why. It looked very familiar to me. At least the 36 did. So I went to Google Earth, and I went to the coordinates of 36 in Vegas, where I saw my craft before. It's where I saw the UFO come down and land. And when I saw was there was some coordinates, the heart of Las Vegas is 36 north, or whatever it is. This surprised me no end, and I knew I was going to find something. What, I did not know. Then I said, okay, I'll take the 120, which looks like the other half of the coordinates, which is the end of the paragraph, as you can see. And I went straight across to 120. And it started looking to be interesting. It is now in California. And if you go there, you see some interesting equipment, which I don't know what they are or used for. Then I decided to go. It was at like 36, 5, and 120 at that point. So I started going south, and the numbers got smaller. And what happened was, right at 2, I found what you're going to see in a minute. And then I said, what the hell is the 127? And I couldn't understand it, so I zoomed in on the what I thought was the satellite dish at the beginning. And I found out, somebody told me it was a storage compartment. And that's another interesting story in itself. But anyway, I zoomed in on it, I found I was in some foothills, and then exactly 36, 2, and 120 was the satellite dish or storage compartment. And I was totally blown away by this, not really surprised, or scared. This was very interesting. And how can I find this storage compartment that you cannot see by the air, and it's in the foothills, in the middle of the foothills, on the highest point of the ground there. But I was concerned about what the 127 meant. I still don't know what the 248 and 64 is, but it might be the dimensions inside the storage compartment, or inside the tunnel underneath the storage compartment, or whatever it may be. I don't know yet, and I may never know. There would be more proof if you want to look into it. But when I saw the 127, I looked and looked, and to my surprise, the altitude was 1,270 feet. This was kind of strange. When I moved the cursor over the dead center of the dish, which I'll show in a moment, it hit the exact dead center. 36 to 120, elevation 1,270 feet. This is totally impossible. This verifies the binary code. This verifies that I was told this, and I could not find it on my own. And this shocked me, but even more than this, I kept looking around. There's got to be other messages in here to tell me what to do with this storage compartment. There must be something. And I couldn't find anything, and I still say there is. Although if you take a look at the title, it's really fascinating. I believe during my meditations that I'm in touch with something that I can't explain. I believe it's possible that I'm having a serious relationship beyond the normal means. And the title to me suggests that. And this is why. It's 7, 4, and 2. You transpose the 7 to a letter, you get G. You transpose the 4 to a letter, you get a D. And if you transpose the 2 to a letter, you get a B. Now, since you don't know who I am, this may not mean much to you. But my name is David. And the G, I believe, is for a girl. Or a girlfriend, whenever you choose to recognize. The 4 is a D for David, acknowledging that this is for me. The 2 is for B, for boy. So you got girl, David, boy. Or girl, David, boyfriend. This scared me more than finding out that I found a storage compartment here. Because this means I am having a relationship with her. It's a telepathic relationship. I do not see her as such. There is supposedly a woman named Catherine from the Arcturians that helps people here on Earth. And in my following reports, I will show you further communication on this behalf, telling me who they are, and that they are indeed the Arcturian race. And there can be no mistakes. I've had several communications with this. A rock with their signature on it, a super ball with what I saw on it, and now this. They are not coincidences. These people seem to be masters of altering matter and can control one's mind to such a degree that you cannot accept. And if this is true, which I am going to try to prove to you, it will shock you beyond belief. And I believe I have 100% proof that this is real. Even though it's still all speculation, and that's the way they want it. If you can accept this as the truth, it is the truth. So I hope you will finish hearing my story and my explanations. I'm sure you will find it fascinating. The next picture will be the storage compartment. And I will explain even in more detail why this is not a coincidence. It could be that the storage compartment is is storing fuel, and it could be dangerous to us. Or this could be their storage compartment. Who knows? It could be the reason why they came and I saw them at that location. I don't know. It's all speculation for the moment. But people have been convicted and put to death for a lot less coincidental incidences as I have. So it's up to you if you want to believe this or not.